It's always great to have Fro here.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, George, quickly ask Fro, what's new in Cameroon?
Well, City Life Show has really done the world a good thing by educating them about what is going on in Cameroon. So I really thank the hosts, John, Linda, Cliff, and George. So what is currently going on in Cameroon, it's only bad news come out of Cameroon now, or on the English Cameroon, really. Because
now there's English Cameroon and there's French Cameroon.
There's English
separate countries?
Well, they were separate countries and then came together like a federal federation.
Yeah.
But the French part governed since they came together has been ruled by a French president.
One seat in the UN?
Yes, one seat in the
okay,
UN. But from the agreement, it was to be a rotating leadership president. But ever since 1961, the president has always been from the French side. And they have done everything to suppress the English side, and to a point whereby the English side found that their identity was completely being eradicated. So, and then when they asked peacefully for a dialogue to see how they can solve the problem, the president declared war and started burning houses, killing, arresting people, burning protesters, killing protesters on the streets. So all they had to do was to defend themselves. And that was in November 2016. War has been going on and a lot of killings. But
what's the United States' policy toward Cameroon?
Oh, the United States has been very, very progressive right now. Last month, the United States has suspended the $17 million that they sent to the government.
Really?
Yes.
Boy, you got money to build a wall.
Probably John has some images there which he is going to show, and it just dawned on me that this month, March 18, we're celebrating the International Women's Day. So when I look at some of the images and what has been going on, I would think that the First Lady of Cameroon would really sympathize with all the mothers whose children have been killed, burned, hospitals have been burnt, patients burnt alive. And you would see that she pays no attention. That a clip that John will show you, she is just living a life of opulence, extravagance, and I really wonder where are her mother's instinct while her own children are living in Beverly Hills, driving
They paid to get into college.
They don't even pay.
I'm going to hit play and
Yes.
radio?
No, you just play the images. No, it's just...
Okay. So this is the first one they
Looks like
came
she's
around?
going to the
Yes.
Derby.
Okay, look at the children. Look at her living. That's her family and the president. Look at the Cameroonian children. That's her daughter here in Beverly Hills. Look at the women protesting for their own children being dead. That is her. I mean, look at Cameroon children in poverty. That's the car that her daughter drives. I mean, look at how that's her and the president. That's the school.
That's the school?
That's the school. Look at students. Mr. Paul Biazon, that's her daughter. That's the car that her daughter drives. These are women protesting about their children killed. That's her.
Is that a lady?
That's the First Lady.
Yeah, I would say so.
These are women carrying brooms and leaves, protesting. These are roads in Cameroon. That's the president.
Now this war...
These are students.
Okay. Well, John could just stop.
It's about 1 minute. That's the first...
Sure, here, nice.
Yep. That's the end. I think that's the end, John.
Back to you guys, or you want to do the next one?
No, but we can So with this, I mean, you would wonder, would she not really have the mother instinct to even get the president's ear as to what is going on? These killings have been going on for more than 2 years.
What's the French Cameroonian, those who speak French, compared to those who speak English in population?
80% of the population
Is what?
French,
Okay.
but economically, 65% of the national GDP, the resources come from the English side.
Okay.
So it is really a fight of resources. That's
Now-
why they want to suppress every voice in the English Cameroon.
Does Great Britain or the United Kingdom and France get involved in this?
The United Kingdom had washed her hands off, but the French have a heavy hand over Cameroon. That's why everything that's going on is because of French control of French influence to control the resources in the English Cameroon.
So there were two countries before,
Two independent countries,
and what were they called?
Southern Cameroon and the Republic of Cameroon.
Okay, so the Cameroon name was in them all, both of them.
Both of them.
Okay.
How do we spell Cameroon?
That's the French side. The French spelling.
Oh, that's the French
The
spelling.
English spelling is double O. The French spelling is.
I understand better now, thank you.
I'm glad you.
Good, that's
it's
good.
it's not
Wow.
It's not wrongly spelled. The French is O-U-N, yes. So the thing is, George, Cameroon was won under the Germans when the Germans lost
Yeah.
the World War. So they divided, they put Cameroon under the trusteeship of the British and the French.
All right.
So the French Cameroon got independence on the 1st of January 1960. Then 1st of October 1961, they were to get their independence, but they had only two options. Either you get your independence by joining French Cameroon, or you get your independence by joining Nigeria, which was an English colony.
Oh, okay.
So the English Cameroon opted to join French Cameroon to form a federated state, whereby you maintain your system of government.
Well,
your
we're a
legal
federation in the United States.
Yeah.
There's power in the states. Now, obviously, the national government has the most power in the United States, but there's still power in each individual state.
That was a lab experiment that we thought that if in good faith, that will serve Africa and Cameroon well. But the English Cameroon came into the agreement with good faith, but the French Cameroon came in with bad faith. So in 1972, they found out oil and a lot of resources on the English Cameroon. So because of their majority, they unanimously changed the name of the country from a federal republic to a united republic with one star. A federal republic carried, the flag was green, red, yellow with two stars, each star representing both Cameroons.
Okay.
Each Cameroon. Then in 1972, when they found the resources in the English side, the president who was from the French side changed the country's name to United Republic of Cameroon. Only one star.
Has the United Nations gotten involved at all, or did you get hurt by agreeing? And
There is no document signed. That's the funniest thing. There is no, it was just at the United Nations, there's no legal document that these two countries are united.
oh, okay.
So that is what the world should understand. There is no document at the UN that
They consider it two countries.
at the UN they consider two countries because there is no document that the French Cameroon or the president can prove that they signed. And even when the French Cameroon celebrated its 50th anniversary, this is really important to understand. The Secretary General of the United Nations, as his gift to him, brought the map of two Cameroons.
Oh my.
One, the French Cameroon, and one, the English Cameroon. That states that these are two different countries. You are celebrating 50 years of the Republic of Cameroon, not 50 years of Southern Cameroon. So that is very, very symbolic. And if today the United Nations doesn't go back to its word, then those images at the next show, I'm going to bring that image. You see the representative of the Secretary General handing to the President of Cameroon two maps.
Concerned about, like, you have a tie to Cameroon. You still do. You're an American citizen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you're an American, but you have a tie to Cameroon. Why? And I'm getting somewhere because some people have criticized, and that was the issue, why Jewish Americans have a tie to Israel. And I think it's natural to have a tie to the homeland. Not that you're an anti-American, but you have a concern and a caring and a
Family
tie.
back there, don't you?
And that's very, very important. And then the only way I can answer that question is, why are people dying to get their DNA to know where they come from? Because they want to attach themselves to the origin.
All right, roots.
To their roots. So everyone, every human being or whatever, you want to know exactly where you come from, because if you know where you come from, you can know where you are going to. Everything starts from the foundation. It doesn't mean that when you go back to identify yourself where you come from, it means that you are denouncing your current identity.
Yeah.
You just want to know the totality of your being. So all of us, definitely, we were talking about you have your Irish identity, you have your Spanish identity, or whatever. It's just out of human curiosity to go back and know that, because you can never tear yourself apart from where you come from your origin. It's more or less
You
like
are what you are.
Yes, that you can never say that you don't have a shadow.
Yeah.
Because your shadow chases you wherever.
Okay, especially now with DNA and all these tests. John, whatever Fru wants to do, I just...
The next clip is also to really show how the tragedy, the level of the atrocity, that they burnt down a hospital and patients burnt alive. And right now, because of this international outcry, that people have been able to capture the atrocity of the army on cell phones and sending it out. The army has disguised now as civilians. No, we just want to show the images. That's a medical hospital in that town. The town is Kumba. It's burned down by the government, alleged that separatists are being treated there.
Now, this is interesting to me. Now, I know it's a silly thing. And Cameroon is spelled one way on the top line and with the French way on the
It says Kumba General Hospital in southern Cameroon. Southern Cameroon is English Cameroon.
Okay.
And then patients burned alive by...
Oh, all right. Okay.
Because the army is the French Cameroon.
All right. Okay.
I'm glad you see it's actually showing the two Cameroons.
These little things sometimes.
The message is conveying that there are two Cameroons. One is spelled with double O, that's the English Cameroon, and the other one is spelled with O-U-N, that's the French Cameroon. That's a medical hospital that was burnt by the army who took an oath to protect the citizen. And that hospital was not empty. There were patients, and most of them burnt alive. And if the government has really gone down, that you see, that's a patient that's covered in white cloth.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So with this, you'll really look at, I think that the First Lady would really call the President to task. But when this hospital was burnt, the president he never said a word on.
Well, I don't understand, and I talk about this all the time, I don't understand why the UN doesn't acknowledge something like this. It's a hospital, for goodness sakes.
Oh, Linda, that beats my imagination. And right here that I'm sitting here, I'm seeing these images like you are saying it, but my heart and all of our hearts really go out there and wondering the condition of those people there. When it rains or whatever, I mean, even as we speak, we are saying that any good Samaritans out there, if they can support, I mean, there are many ways to really support. We are even...
Some words that they use.
So you
Disturbing.
You had plenty of time to change the channel. So, Fro, can you tell us what's in this picture here?
Okay, exactly, that's what I was telling you. The government, the army, in order to hide their atrocity, they come to a village, they will burn a village, kill the civilians, and try to burn the evidence. And those who have fled to the forest, fled to the forest, the army, because they know that when they come in their official uniform, they could actually be identified. So they disguise like civilians. When these people who have escaped from the villages that they have destroyed their villages, they even run to the bush. The army now disguise as civilian and go to the bush. They will see the army as coming. They thought that these are friends or good Samaritans that feel sympathy for them. They will come out, and guess what? The army will gun them down and burn. And it is alleged that some of these atrocities, that chemical weapon may have been used. But this is where we thought that it would call the attention of people who are blind and those who are deaf to be able to see. But it is really painful that the international community, the UN, whom they have agents on the ground saying all this, they are very eloquent in their silence, and we really ask, where is our humanity?
So you never believe that this gal right here can put a stop to everything right here?
Yes.
She's married to the president. I'm sure that this stuff is kept from her eyes, and she can fix this.
Exactly. That's what I'm just putting all these images so that the international community, if the First Lady's ear is actually called upon, she would be, because she is a mother. And most of all these kids who are not going to school, some of the women are dying in the forest under very terrible conditions. Babies are delivered, they die. And even imagine a hospital in the city, if that hospital can be burnt.
So, when the First Lady sees this, the First Lady of Cameroon sees this video, we just plead with her to look into this and do what she can to stop it. Thanks, Fro.
Thank you very much for those horrific images, John. And I know they are very bad to look at, but that's the only way that you can
It's proof.
Evoke the emotion, the humanity in all of us to see that that should not happen to anyone, anywhere in the world, because tomorrow it can be a friend of yours, it can be someone that you know.
Linda, you said something that I wanted to comment on about where's the UN. The UN is structured in a certain way, and I'm no expert in the structure, but the French have a veto in the United Nations Security Council, and most of the big stuff is done by the United Nations Security Council. So if the government of France doesn't want to do it, it's gone. The United Nations can't do anything. They can. That's one of those things.
And Linda, even your question, the government has the audacity to even have his surrogates around the world to be calling people and threatening them if they see people who are actually bringing these images to the whole world. They even call John.
Do you get threatened?
Yes,
they call
they call John, they call the city hall about me, they call LTC, the host on LTC, about what they are doing and calling them criminal, you see. So that shows that the positive aspect of it, you look at it this way, means what we are doing here is having an impact. Because if they have the audacity to be calling, that shows that they know that we are creating an awareness. We are
Well,
not
let's
in
hope
that.
Bobby Trahan, who is, represents the sister city of one of the cities in
Baminda.
Yeah.
The congresswoman, I think she would be very helpful. But right now, I have not actually formally presented the situation to her. Because I think that charity begins at home. She's a freshman in Congress. I want her to actually be comfortable where she is and take precedent doing things that affect us here in America and in her constituent before I bring this to her. So just out of respect
That's
for
very
what she
nice
does
of you,
for us.
Frank.
Now, in the Lowell area, Fro, do we have both French Cameroonians and English Cameroonians?
Oh, yes, George, the problem is
Do
not...
they dislike each other in
No,
the
the
city?
problem is not about the citizens.
Okay.
All Cameroonians, all of them are abhorred as what is going on with the English Cameroonians because we are intermarried. We are brothers and sisters.
Okay.
We still function well. It's the politics of the country that is dividing us.
Okay.
Because you said, like I said, the English Cameroon government and the came into this union with good faith. And it is those at the top, those greedy ones who are holding power, that are trying to put a knife amongst all Cameroonians. Be you French Cameroonian or English Cameroonian here in Lowell or even out of the country, when they see all these images, no one is proud to look at them. And we are all Cameroonians.
Because it's not Cameroonians that are doing the killing, it's the French army.
It's not Cameroonians that are doing it, but it is the government, and this army is being funded.
It's not French. I mean, it's French in background, but it's not the government of France.
That's what I'm saying, that this army is being funded by money from France.
Oh.
The guns, Cameroon, when you look at Cameroon, have you seen any industry that Cameroon makes guns? No, these guns, they come from abroad. And mostly Cameroon being a colony of France, all the resources, France, you take, Cameroon can survive without France, but France cannot survive without Cameroon.
I've never heard it phrased that way. That's interesting.
Because all the resources, France does not have oil, France does not have minerals, France does not, no agricultural products like banana and all those things.
So your argument is anti-French?
No, my argument, well, some people may say that once the thing is at the dinner table, if you are taking my food and starving me, should I not speak for because I am hungry? France is the one who is taking the Cameroon resources.
Why isn't England fighting for the resources? I don't understand that. Because they don't have a lot of resources either.
No, Linda, did you forget that I showed a clip here of an English parliamentarian, that lady who stood up in parliament and shamed her government that as the atrocities are going on, people are being killed, kids are being massacred, women are being killed, lawyers arrested, teachers arrested. The British firms signed a contract of 1.5 trillion pounds to everything, to sign contracts with the Chinese, with the French, with the British, so as to consolidate power into their own hands.
Now, what's happening with the English president? Is he still in jail?
He is still in jail. If you a few days ago, under this, Few days ago, he was to appear in court. That was last week. He appeared in court. But the condition, the abject condition on which they are subjected, you could really see the frustration in him. President Sisiko Ayuk Tabe, he is very calm gentleman. John saw him. But when you see him vent his frustration, it shows that for over 2 years, they were arrested in Nigeria, thrown in a cargo plane and flown to Cameroon and put on the ground for over a year. Some of them are almost losing their sight. And I would also say that for our political leaders, to do a lot more, it also depends on the American people. Because as I always say, the power of the people is more important than the people in power.
Well, if we've stopped the money from the United States, that's huge, I would think.
Yes, and that is probably coming as a result of Americans calling their elected officials and reminding them that you see this atrocity that's going on. I hear that my taxpayers' money is going to fund this.
I agree.
So that is exactly what I'm saying. I'm encouraging fellow human beings, fellow Americans, that when you see those images, don't think that you cannot do something. By calling your representative, not only in Massachusetts, if you are in Georgia, if you are in Washington, if you are in Atlanta, if you are in Hawaii, in Texas, wherever, if you happen to see these images, if you call your elected officials, it can work.
Well, I'm going to forward this to you. This is from Lori Trahan, and she sent this out. I get this on one of my email accounts, and she's looking to hear from.
Yes, I received that message.
So you need to. So you have this.
Yes, I have that.
So you need to engage with this communication, and attach some pictures. And I know that Lori will help you.
Oh yes, I mean she is. Like I said, she is.
She's got a beautiful spirit. I like Lori. She could get.
Yes, she is. Thank you, John. Yeah. So that's what I can say, Linda. The power of the people is what pushes our elected officials to act on behalf of the people.
Now, there's no Cameroonian American in Lowell that we could call in to represent the French. Meaning is there, you're very active and very involved. We have you in and you talk. Is there some leadership or group or club or anything that would say that this is war and this is what happens in war?
John, we have a group here in Lowell. It's all the Cameroonians of Lowell.
Okay.
You see, that Cameroonians of Lowell has both.
Okay.
It's a non-profit organization. You have people from the French side, you have people from the English side. That is why I said that this problem does not affect Cameroonians. It is the leadership in the country. And even they themselves are more frustrated because they don't benefit. The leadership, if you see the president's daughter who is living in Beverly Hills, do you think those from the French side and those from the English are their children living like the president's? It is the power, the people in power who are actually causing all the problems so that to protect their own interests and serve on the interests of those international companies that they protect. They are there not for the benefit of the people, but for their own benefit. Let me ask you let me just throw this question. Imagine if a hospital is burned, if something tragic will happen here in Lowell, would our governor not be the first person to be there?
Yes.
Right, that is leadership. But this is a hospital that is burned. Patients are burned. The president has not made a speech. The president has not gone there. In that hospital, in that city, there are Cameroonians. Not only English-speaking Cameroonians, but they are all Cameroonians in that hospital, living in that city, city we are intermarriage.
I just wondered if there's any possibility that the leader of Cameroon will fall.
Well, but the thing is, the Cameroonians never wanted war. You see, but the foreign influence is what is keeping these African dictators in place. Because these African dictators, living this long, they are not serving the interests of the people. They are serving the interests of the person in the dark. And in Cameroon, the person in the dark is, guess who? Is the French government. If France wants Biya to go in a second, he will go.
Well, then that's putting the charge against France.
Well,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, France is a democracy. And if France colonized Cameroon, since 1960, just to ask your question, John, if we are very clear, if France influence is predominant in Cameroon, since 1960, how many presidents has France have? You had de Gaulle, you had Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, you have Chirac, you have Mitterrand, you have George Pompidou.
You're brilliant with all those names.
Exactly. Then you have
I remember them, but
you have Sarkozy, you have Hollande, now you have Macron. Then what about Cameroon? One man that has been ruling all these years. Every day they go to France, Can that
you
answer your
indicate
question?
that if Macron pulled the plug, that would be the end of the head of English Cameroon.
No,
I mean French Cameroon.
There will be a change in Cameroon.
Okay.
A change in Cameroon. A democratically change in Cameroon. As I've said, all this almost around 10 presidents of France. Only one president in Cameroon since then. Does that show democracy?
Does any president of France recognize formally the troubles in Cameroon?
They know, because the French army is in
But
Cameroon.
what do they speak?
Well, maybe,
You
but,
speak.
but sometimes you cannot bite the finger that fits you.
Oh, okay.
You certainly cannot bite the finger that fits you. Like I mentioned earlier, that Cameroon can survive without France, but France cannot survive without Cameroon. So if you can only look at it that way, you will see that true democracy in francophone countries in Africa, it's very, very difficult.
One last question from me is there immigration from Cameroon to France?
Oh, that is the French system made the French Cameroonian to feel that they are France, and that Paris is their capital. Even then, when I was growing up in the French side, when you drink water, they will always drink water that comes from Paris. Water from Paris is better than water from Cameroon. The English side was totally different. So that is the mindset that France cultivated to its colonies, to make sure that they adore what comes from France is. So in essence, I really would like to thank the host of City Life Show, John, Linda, George, for giving me this platform and for actually being very concerned of what is going on thousands of miles away. And I think the people in Cameroon who are really suffering, once this show is heavily watched in Cameroon, they always send their thanks and for you speaking on their behalf. And
French Cameroon?
When I say Cameroon, I always like to use Cameroon, not French Cameroon, English Cameroon, because like I said, Cameroonians are united. Cameroonians have their peace.
So it's just the government.
It's the government. It's the government.
You made that clear.
Yes, it's the government, because when I sit here and speak, I don't come here with a divisive language separating Cameroonians. My family is has an extended family in the French side. My brothers is married from someone in the French side. They have 6 children. Those are my children. So I am, and Linda, I am telling you, people in Cameroon, most of them consider you like a mother. They always say, what?
I always respect your courage, because I know your family in Cameroon does receive pressure from the locals down there that to try to change your mind on doing this stuff. So I congratulate you for bringing this to the Llewellyans viewership, and you're doing a great job. You're saving lives. Thanks.
Thank you.
So look, we got this.